Hey everybody, this is Maggi Rocha, Certified Advanced Practice Social Worker and Qualified Treatment Trainee with Behavioral Health Clinic. Today is going to be part 2 of our mini-series addressing life after the pandemic. Today we're going to be focusing mainly on goal setting, how to set some realistic expectations for ourselves moving forward, and how to be ready for if we end up not meeting those expectations. Let's get started. Following a period of missed opportunities and isolation, it's pretty easy to now want to jump back into life or into school with grand expectations for how you want to change or how you might want to change your environment. However, we have to be sure that we're making goals that are realistic for ourselves and that we're actually going to be able to accomplish with the resources we have, the time we have, and how much energy we actually want to put into this change. So the way to do that is not necessarily just having a generic goal, so something, for example, like, well, I want to get out more, or I'm going to lose weight, like kind of those one-liners. We want to have kind of more realistic goal setting. So one way to do that is through SMART goals. Now, some of you may have heard about SMART goals either in work, school, or maybe even from your kids. So SMART is actually an acronym. So it means specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, relevant, and timely. So specific is referring to what is it that you actually want to do, right? So we go back to the example of, well, I want to get out more. What does that actually mean? Does that mean you want to actually go out more to socialize? Does it mean you want to be involved with more club and organization activities? Does that mean volunteering? You want to have it be something specific so that it feels more manageable and something that you can actually work on. For measurable, this is looking at how will we know when you've reached that goal. So for a lot of people, we'll go back to the weight example, right? So like, oh, well, I want to lose 50 pounds this year. Well, how much time do you want to put towards doing that every day? So if you're planning on exercising, right, you want to then plan, oh, well, I'm going to work 30 minutes this many days a week for this amount of time and do a check-in at this date. So you want to make sure that you have something, again, that's tangible that you can actually track, and it actually helps you set up maybe some mini goals so you can see that you're actually making progress towards what you want to work on. Attainable is whether or not it's in your power to accomplish it, right? So if we had a goldfish whose goal was to walk, that's not really an attainable process. More realistically, when we're talking about, let's say in a school environment, right? Where someone who maybe wants to gain a lot more friends and things like that, but maybe they're in an environment where that's very difficult for them to do so. So maybe somebody who's homeschooled but isn't really going to put in a lot of effort to find clubs and organizations, somebody who's rural but maybe isn't able to kind of go to all those clubs and organizations every day after school because maybe they have an hour-long commute to get back home. So kind of thinking about, okay, this is what I want to have happen. Is it in my power to do it? For relevant and realistic, so this kind of ties into the attainable aspect again. What we're looking at with the R side of this acronym is whether or not what we're trying to accomplish is relevant to our goals long term. So if we're thinking about, okay, I know that in a few years down the road, I want to be healthy enough to either be able to take care and play with my grandkids. I want to be able to run around and do things, even as I get kind of into the years here. So we want to make sure that obviously our goals towards our health right now that might be short term are with that in mind. Similarly, so this is what we're talking about with a 4-year plan, right? With students who are maybe getting out of high school, going into college. We're looking ahead at long term, all right, you want to be in a full-time position, you want to be comfortable with your job, maybe you have a specific job you want to go into. Well, let's make sure that those small SMART goals we have right now are working towards that end goal. For the last one, so for timely, we're looking at what exactly and when exactly do you want to accomplish this goal. So you can have a goal that has no real firm end date, right? So let's say with the weight loss, you didn't even say 50 pounds in a year, you said just 50 pounds. Well, that doesn't really give you a line that, okay, I have to meet this by this certain time. So it can be hard to stick to that. So when we're making a goal, let's say we want to get out more, right? So something that's a little more consistent over time, we're going to want to look at, all right, when do I want to check in? When do I want to start having it be where I'm consistently going out all the time? So let's say we plan, we're going to go to our spin class twice a week for at least 60 minutes each time. So right now, let's say we're kind of starting off in September, right? I want to be sure that I'm meeting that goal so that I am going twice a week for that 30 minutes by the end of the month. So planning a date where it's like, all right, I'm moving and grooving, and it lets you kind of ease into it as well. Looking at this, now we have to make sure that if we're unable to meet those goals, how do we kind of either get back on track? How do we kind of handle that moving forward? Right, so let's say we have that goal planned out, right? And we hit like, let's say into December now. So it's been a few months and we started with our goals. We're fully into the school year, and then something happens. So let's say we fall on the ice and we hurt our ankle and then we're out of commission for a week or so, right? It can be really hard to then get back in and find that motivation again to get back into the goal. So when we have our SMART goals, the important thing is to, if we do have something where we either have a slip up for personal reasons, physical reasons, anything like that, making sure that we have somebody who can maybe hold us accountable a little bit to jump back into the goal. So that's where you want to have kind of a team of support around you. So if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to get out more, telling your best friend, like, hey, this is my goal, this is my plan. I would really appreciate it if you kind of help me stick to it, and this is what you can do to help me stick to it, right? Because that way then you have someone externally holding you accountable. Another way you can do that is have some sort of incentive for completing your goal and finishing your goal, right? So let's say, all right, I want to get out more and I want to make more friends. So let's say that I have an end goal of like, all right, I'm going to meet 5 new people by the end of November. Now, just meeting new people, right? So we're not holding ourselves to an unrealistic standard. But so let's say, all right, we meet 5 new people. And then if I do that successfully, then I get to go on this weekend trip up to Door County or something like that, maybe even smaller, right? Where, all right, if I do that well, then me and my family, we're going to go out to Texas Roadhouse for a little celebratory dinner, right? And having that incentive can help you feel like, oh, okay, even though I stepped out of this, I can jump back into this pretty quickly and then still meet that goal by the deadline. So we've talked a little bit about kind of how to set those goals, what expectations are in setting those goals, and how to kind of get back on track with things. So next time we're going to have a little bit of a different video. So when we started this series, we were talking a little bit more about, okay, people are getting vaccinated, kind of midsummer. Well, now we obviously have that Delta variant moving in. So we're going to talk a little bit about how that might impact the rest of your year moving forward, how to kind of handle some of those disappointments with that, and also making sure that our kids are school ready. And as always, if you ever have any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out to us over here at Behavioral Health Clinic. Bye!